What's up, YouTubers? So, got a second portable welding table that we're gonna kind of unbox, even though it didn't come in a box. We'll set it up, we'll take a look at it, and I'll give my thoughts on it. If you watch my previous video, I bought a Hobart table, and that's gonna kind of serve a specific purpose. This is a little bit different of a layout. It's definitely a lot longer. I'm gonna mainly have my dry cut saw on this, but occasionally I may take it out on a job site and weld on it as well. It's good to have options. With that said, let's get into this. So per usual, I didn't do my due diligence on figuring out what it takes to put this together. I see it does have instructions on it, so we'll promptly ignore those. Wow, some pretty good tape. At least this one's only like 1 page. So this reminds me of like a, how do I put it, a miter saw stand. So it just has simple detent balls with springs. The legs are adjustable for height, which is kind of nice. The Hobart one and the Harbor Freight one that I have are not. Oh, I didn't even notice, I'm an idiot. So you don't have to press the pin in, you actually just press this and it does it for you. So that's kind of handy. I'm so used to, pressing stuff like this, I didn't even pay attention to that. Not exactly sure what all this stuff is for, but we will figure it out. Bag full of goodies. So, maybe I'm gonna have to read the directions on this. Oh, I just noticed, look at a dent in there right here. The tabletop seems to be fine and not dented, but way to go, Farm and Fleet. So that doesn't fit there, I wonder. This must pin in, but then I don't know. Well, I'll have to read the instructions, imagine that. That's interesting. So what they have you do is put a lock nut on the back of this handle, a bolt with a lock nut, this guy. And the purpose is that you can actually slide this in and get it out of the way. So I don't know. I don't know that I need the handle, but we'll put it on there. It came with it. This is to wrap cords up on the legs, I guess. That was a pain in the ass to put in. I didn't film it, but there was a bunch of swearing little nut in there you had to hold. I'm a little bit worried. I mean, this stuff seems to be like decent nylon or something, but I'm afraid that that may, if it gets caught on something, break off. But I'll be honest, I don't think I'm going to be wrapping cords too much around that anyways. I could have probably left it off, but it came with it, and if I didn't put it on, I would never find it again. That's just how things go. Now it has these safety pins. You're supposed to position the legs where you want it and then put this pin through. Now my guess is the pin would hold this with its max weight, and this is just an additional safety so that if you're an idiot and park a Mack truck on this thing, that they can claim that, oh, it failed because you didn't have these in. I don't know, but for right now, I'm not bothering putting them on. Luckily, there's enough holes on the side to where you can just kind of slip them through and pin it. Actually, I put them all on that side. So looking at this assembled didn't take too long, maybe like I don't know, 8-10 minutes, but not too bad. I like the fact that you can fold these legs up and you can set it on this. So it's designed to sit flat on, say, a sheet of plywood or something. Not that you should be welding on a table like this on plywood, but that's at least nice. Does not have wheels, but from a portability standpoint, it's pretty decent. It's a little bit narrower from the front to the back than my other two tables, but it's wider this way. To me, this looks more like a miter saw table, I would say, than a welding table. But one nice thing about this is that you can slip your legs underneath this and weld on it, or put something else under there so you don't lose too much space while this is set up. Not that you really would want to be welding here, you know, with your knees under there, you'll set your britches on fire, so you don't want that. But I think, you know, for TIG, or if you put another plate of steel just setting on the top, I guess you could, you know, put your legs under it. But for the most part, this thing seems pretty good. I'm gonna go grab my dry cut saw over there, set it on there, and just kind of wiggle it to see how stable this is. This particular dry cut saw probably weighs about 40 pounds. And it seems decently stable. I mean, the way that this is pinned for the legs, it's gonna have wiggle to it, but it's definitely not unsafe in any way. I did adjust this to where it's proper height for me. I'm actually a couple pins more, I could still extend the height, so that's really good. If you're tall like I am, this wouldn't be a bad deal, because you could bring it way up, put a stool next to it, and you don't have to bend over, which that's a plus. Now these holes here look like 3/4 inch holes, and I had read online, the only real reading I did on this was people were complaining that these don't fit standard clamps. Most holes are either metric or 1/2 inch, and what it is a steel pin that pushes through here, and then you have like a vice grip on the top, and that it clamps by cocking over in this and friction fit in a way. Well, 3/4 is pretty uncommon for that style clamp. Now, I don't anticipate clamping too much to this, to be honest with you, so that's not a huge deal, but it's something to think of. Because Lincoln Electric makes a table that looks very similar to this, that you can get wheels on it, and it has smaller holes that more clamps fit. So if you really have like a set of clamps already for a table hole like this, then it would be better off, honestly, to look at the Lincoln one. But yeah, now, I didn't mention it earlier. I bought this at Fleet Farm, or Farm and Fleet. Both stores sell the same kind of crap, but we have both of them here in Wisconsin. And I paid around $190, $200 plus tax, of course. So not cheap, but for this saw and occasional welding, and I'm planning on doing a lot more like repairs out in the field and stuff, and shooting videos. I mean, I've done a lot of repairs since I started my channel. It's just that I tend not to bring the video camera along, but in the future I will, so you guys are there with me learning, you know. But yeah, with that said, I think the table's pretty decent. We're gonna do a comparison, or I'm gonna do a comparison between this and a couple other tables. And I think by the end of that video, which will be out shortly, you guys will have a really good idea of what will work for you. And I'm just gonna say this before I end this video. I'm really not one to do reviews. Like, I don't want this channel to turn into a review channel. I'm just gonna share stuff that I buy, what I think of it. And part of the reason is that, like, is this table a good table? It seems to be decently well made, but for your situation, it may not function well. So really what I'm gonna do is show you options you have, and you yourself can make a determination of what will work for you. And rather, like, it goes across the board, rather than looking up, oh, what's the best rated product? Get a better idea of how a product works, and then determine if it's gonna work for you. I mean, obviously, if this thing breaks in half, I'm gonna tell you that, and I'm gonna be mad about it. You get what I'm saying? But you gotta figure out what will work for you. And you can only make that determination, I can't. And the reason I kind of mention that is I've actually had a couple companies send me messages, you know, hey, can you review our products? And we think you'd be great for this, you know, doing all this stuff. And I'm not really into doing that. You know, I'll share what I buy, but I'm no shill per se for some company. Like, I have no affiliation to Dewalt. This isn't a sponsored video. You know, if a coffee company wants to sponsor me, great, I'll do that. But beyond that, you get what I'm saying. Anyways, with that said, I look forward to shooting a comparison video, and it'll be out shortly. So thanks for sticking around. Till next time.